Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching this emergency live stream video where we're going to be taking a look at the charts because Bitcoin, when I woke up today, it was up, it was down, it was up again, and now it's down again. So, yeah, we're going to be taking a look at that. And same with Ethereum, right? Wow, I mean, it's unbelievable. All the fundamental analysis says, hey, you know what? Bitcoin should be going higher, Ethereum should be going higher. But we're going to learn today that fundamental analysis can lie to you, and you need to always look at the technical analysis. That's why I prefer technical analysis and ignoring the noise, is because fundamental analysis can lie to you. What is that? What is fundamental analysis? Well, looking at basically on-chain data. Also looking at basically the mainstream media telling us how great Bitcoin is going to be, and also taking a look at, for example, the fact that, hey, wait a minute, Grayscale, didn't they purchase like $600 million worth of Bitcoins on Monday? Yeah, that's true. That's true. So why is Bitcoin and Ethereum going down if there's all this buying? We're going to talk about that and more in today's live stream episode, and also looking at some chart analysis. So my name is Da Vinci Jeremy, right? If you're interested in all of that, right, make sure that you click in the description below, right? And you know what? Actually, the descriptions doesn't have anything right now because I quickly put this live stream together. But later on, the description will have some information on how to trade this on Bybit, on Femex, and stuff like that. So also, yeah, look at that. There's a little information right there. So if you click on bybit.davincij15.com, you could get $600 in bonuses. All right, let's get into it, right? Because hey, that's what you came for, right? All right, so lots of people in the stream today. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the subscribe. And the bell button, that's very important, right? Smash that like right now. Let's head over to Bitcoin, right? Well, the daily, as you can see, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've broken this upward trend, and now we're headed in the southerly direction. It's Royal Express elevator to hell at this point. It's kind of weird how we've got low volume, but let's take a look at that in 4 hour because this has only been like a few hours into the daily. Yes, the 4 hour is pretty much confirmed that, hey, you know what, we are definitely heading down. We're only 2 hours into the 4 hour, and look at that. This volume is almost as high as the volume that kicked this thing off right over here. So I could say that with certainty that this thing is going to be rolling over and going further down. So how far down is this thing going to be going? Well, there's several steps to this, obviously, because you know what, price action does not go down in a straight line, right? Remember that price does not go down in a straight line. So what we need to do is do a little bit of analysis on. Wait a minute. Okay, so we had an M pattern here. That's clear. So this first M that we see here is the one that we want to measure to create a measured move to give us a general location of the first stop target, meaning where we'll see price action actually take a pause before it actually continues in its downward trend. So let's just do a measured move from there to this bottom M right here, because this is the first one that we broke. And then we could say, okay, well, this one right here could take us all the way to $28,000 before we see any kind of reversal pattern in the price action to give it a pause, right? Get the bulls all happy and stuff like that, and then off we go further down. Because honestly, right, there's a bigger M here, right? But let's go to the smaller one. Let's see if, right, this one right here, right? If we actually, you know what, we could take this one and move it also. Actually, move this one also to this over here. But let's take the bigger one, actually, because that one is valid either way. We could just move this down here, and we could say, okay, well, maybe it'll go further than 28,000, maybe 27,000 or something like that. But this one is the biggest one right here that we need to worry about. Once we break that, right, it's a basically cascading process, right, of lowers, of us going lower and lower and lower. Right, so this could take us approximately to 19,500 almost, right? So yeah, is it possible that we bounce before that? Yes, it is possible. And the reason why we're probably doing all this, even though all the news is telling us that, hey, you know what, this is Bitcoin should be like going to the moon right now, is because it is possible, right? Think about this, right? When the Federal Reserve was having trouble in the 80s, right? Janet Yellen, let's just take a look at Janet. Janet Yellen is like coming out saying, you know, we got to curtail Bitcoin. This is the latest FUD news, right? We're going to be talking about that earlier today, or maybe I'll just we'll skip it. But anyways, Janet Yellen, right, saying that, you know, we got to stop Bitcoin, right, because it's mainly used for legal activities. This is on the mainstream media, and everybody's playing this. So this is just to start the FUD rolling, right? Basically the dumping of the Bitcoin prices, because this is how the Federal Reserve is effectively being. They can't manage the currency if Bitcoin is showing that they're doing a bad job. And that's what happened in the 80s, right? When gold was showing that, hey, the Federal Reserve was doing a bad job. They were printing too much money. And, actually, Paul Volcker said at the end of his term, right, after raising the interest rates to 30%, his job would have been easier if we had managed the price of gold. So do you think that there's a conversation going on even well before Janet Yellen came into the Treasury Secretary, saying, hey, we had this problem back in the 80s with gold, and maybe we should figure out a way to manage Bitcoin so we don't look so bad. And yeah, there is several ways you could manage Bitcoin. And one of the ways is basically through leasing, right? So for example, you know how Grayscale, right? Grayscale has a lot of Bitcoins, right? Grayscale's got a ton of Bitcoin. Is constantly increasing the supply, right? Their supply of Bitcoins. And same with PayPal. And I was wondering why the Federal Reserve gave PayPal a nod. Now it makes kind of a bit of sense, because technically there's something called leasing for gold. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but you could lease gold, right? Companies can lease gold and then keep the gold on their books, technically have the gold on their books, even though they don't own it. They've actually leased it out to another company to do whatever they want with it, and then basically they have to give that gold, the gold back. Well, the same process can occur with Bitcoin. So the Federal Reserve or one of his member banks they probably have agreement with PayPal saying, hey, you know what? Once you gather up a bunch of Bitcoin, right, we're going to want that Bitcoin, and you can keep it on the books by giving us a lease, and we'll give you a payment and interest payments on that lease. And then what they could use that Bitcoin for is to actually sell into the market to give the illusion that Bitcoin is being there's fear, there's FUD, there's their FUD is working, that the prices are actually going down because of real supply and demand, right? So you have to be careful with that, and it's very effective, right? Because price is the signaler for people to buy. It's a signal for people to sell as well. So you have to accept that this price is a signal to sell, right? So it's unfortunate, right, that they have this power, but that's the way it is. Now, the fortunate part of it is that Bitcoin is limited, unlike gold. So they have a limited ability to manage it. So they'll be able to manage it for a while, right? But not forever. And so, whilst they could probably bring it down to 20,000 and really spook the hell out of people, this won't last because a lot of us are hodlers for life, right? And we are not going to lease our Bitcoin to anybody, right? However, this remains a problem. This still remains a problem because, of course, there will be many more people using Grayscale, Grayscale Trust, also PayPal as well. Then there are hodlers of last resort, like ourselves. So keep that in mind. So this means that they can keep the price suppressed a lot longer than most of us can stay solvent. So keep that in mind. With that said, is the bull market over? Can they destroy the bull market? Most likely not, because they are printing more and more money. Now, a lot of people do understand what the Federal Reserve and their member banks are doing, so you don't have to worry about it being like a total, like everyone going into those particular systems. There will be people like, for example, Michael Saylor, who knows what's going on, who will be buying the dips, right, from the dips that are selling. All right. With that said, right, keep in mind also that these guys can also fail. It's very rare. It's very rare, extremely rare. So don't bet on it. But if it does happen, you'll know. Because if price action reverses here and comes back into this wedge, then you know that they have failed, and they could turn into a failed move fast move because they have to buy back in a panic. But with the Federal Reserve, it generally doesn't matter for them to buy back in a panic because they could take losses, unlimited losses. Alrighty. With that said, we need to like accept what the price is doing and live with it. And the price says we are going further down. All right. So, with that said, this is where you're going to trade to. Let's go down to the shorter time frame to see if we can open up any kind of trades. Now, it's too late, right? It's obviously too late to jump in the trade here. What we could have done, right, is maybe earlier on today, right, as this thing pumped higher and then dumped, you could have gotten into an M, like this was an M trade, right here, an M pattern trade right here. Let me just draw it out for you guys, which made you work, right? Because it was legit, right? But then price went straight up and scared you out, and then dumped, right? And so you could have just said, okay, you could have got stopped out maybe because you set your stop to this level here, and then you could have reset your trade at this so if you got stopped out at 34,000 or 35,000 almost, right? You could have reset your trade to just let it go, right? I know it's hard, right? But let it go and set your trade to around $34,000 to continue down this dump. Now, with that said, there's going to probably be more opportunities to get into a short trade, probably at the lower time frames and not at the higher time frames, because this thing is probably has got a life of its own. Right now, Bitcoin's price with the 13 EMA on the 5-minute is still headed south. It looks like it's holding the 13 EMA and further breaking down. You can see this, of course, on the. Let's go back to the 4-hour quickly to say, yeah, the same result is on the 4-hour. The 4-hour is clearly indicated that we are headed down, and there's no positive action. So where we need to wait for either candlesticks to let us know when to get in, which we haven't really covered it in this in my videos, in my live streams, or in my any of my videos, is just candlestick patterns. But what we could do is look for, of course, the M pattern here on the 5 minutes before we can actually jump in. Of course, keep that in mind that this thing does not always work, and so consider that the M's may or may not get you a trade. Okay, with that said, we just have to wait for that, for us to just be patient. Remember, patience is a virtue. You will get a chance. The market will always be here. You will get a chance to make money in this market. Oh wow. Oh wow! Look at that. We missed a very big move here in Ethereum. It has confirmed its M pattern. It's made a confirmation M. This is a clear, hey, you know what? You are absolutely screwed situation here, right? Absolutely screwed. You cannot. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It has rolled back. So you're looking for obviously a short to in the near future here to take this thing, because this is headed lower. Now, of course, right? This could do something like what Bitcoin has done. Unlikely, but it's still possible. Come back up here and then go back down. Ethereum loves to do that. A lot more often than not, so consider that as a possibility. And so let's take a look at the lower time frames. We're clearly on the 13 EMA is lower on the 4 hour, so we have to look for short opportunities. But with accepting the fact that, you know what, that Ethereum could could pump higher a little bit to blow us out. We're looking to see, well, basically the same thing on Ethereum, an M pattern to get us in a short, right? We're looking for something to give us a short, and there we go. We break that level, and then boom, we are off to the races on our short. So far, that there is no indication of that. It looks like Ethereum is going to pump a little bit more, because we've broken above the 13 EMA on the 5 minute, and it wants to pump to probably to a new level. Let's just see. Let's just say, where was the last M here? Their last clean M. I would not see any here except this breakdown. This breakdown of this one right here. So let's take that M, which was the breakdown here. It gave you a little bit of a scare, and then it broke down. So that is the clear M pattern, and so I would take the fib levels from there and see what we can see. So the 61.8 is from this kind of fake out M, right, pattern, but there's also the 78.6, which is where I would look to do a short, to hit a short on the 1313 that level, should price action come back up this way. Of course, you know, now you can see that price action has failed to stay above the 13 EMA, and so meaning that we could see this thing collapse even further. But we'll just have to wait and see. All right, folks, that's it for this this live stream. Let me just see how you guys are doing in the wow, 1,400 people watching. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I am going to do my regular scheduled stream later on today, right, with Pandora's Wallet subscribers. So if you want to do that, if you want to join the stream, you could do so by purchasing Pandora's Wallet subscription right now, and you can see you could see what we're going to be talking about in the live stream with the subscribers, or you could wait, of course, until it's published. Also, you could also purchase the DJ15 token and also participate that way. And of course, we will have our question and answers. It's going to be a shorter stream today, only because I have to go to a bank, right, and deal with some issues with the bank, of course, with banks, of course. All right. Thank you all for watching, right? Appreciate everybody here in today's stream. And remember, right, even though Bitcoin's going down, right, dollar cost average, right, make sure that you're playing from a position of strength and you don't get wrecked, right? Because Bitcoin's real, Bitcoin's here to stay, and you need to be a part of it.